Hello everyone, welcome back once again to your favorite channel, that is Lukmaan IAS. And we are proceeding in our today's Takkar Perspective series, that is the hot topic for the day. And today's topic, the most interesting one with regard to the geopolitics, is that the US Congress, United States, the upper house of the United States, the Congress, has officially recognized as the McMohan line as an official international boundary between the two nations that is known as India and China. So the statement of the United States Congress, which has come in the time of the tension when we can see the Ukraine-Russia crisis, when the Ukraine-Russia conflict or the Ukraine-Russia war is taking up the new heights every day. And in the very meantime, how Chinese aggressive policies are imposing big threats on the sovereignty and internal security of the nations of that is India, as well as it is also threatening some of the regions of the United States. As what we can see, very recently, China test fired one of its missiles that claims that it can reach into the territories of United States in very short span of time. That means China is officially or formally is inviting the war, the high-scale tensed war between the two great superpowers that will ultimately lead to the World War III. That will be final destruction to the whole globe, to the whole planet. The blue planet will turn into the fireball if it does takes place, the World War III, if in any case it does takes place. Right? Why? Because every now and where we can see the nations now, they do possess the greatest ever weapon of mass destruction, the greatest ever threat to the mankind, known as the nuclear. The nuclear deterrence we talk about everywhere, and yes, this is the greatest threat. And now, why China is doing so? What is the intention of China? Why are you troubling the peace and stable system of the geopolitics? Why are you troubling the peace and stable system of the whole globe? There is no answer to this one particular severe and intense question, because no one knows what's going on inside the sphere of geopolitics as of now, and we can see in the same time, when the Russia is also inviting the high-scale war. Now, apart from the Russia-Ukraine crisis, why the US is doing so? Because US has failed directly. I will reiterate the statement. US has failed directly to support Ukraine against Russia. What we have seen that yes, Ukraine was about to become the NATO member, but before this takes place, before this happens, Russia imposed war on Ukraine. And what we have seen that yes, there has been political and economic sanctions on the state of Russia, but there is no such physical action or physical deterrence that has taken place in the last 1 year or 1 year and more against Russia from the West superpower, that is the United States, in fact from the Middle or the European agencies or the nations as well. So no one has taken a dare to take on a physical confrontation against Russia. And this is where Russia actually shows this thing that inside the state of Europe and Asia, that is incumbent, that is Eurasia, I am the superpower with China as one of my greatest allies, including India. And now coming to the point here, that is why US is doing this thing again. So because of its continuous setbacks, continuous failures with regard to the withdrawal of the troops from the state of Afghanistan, with the failure of the new quad made by the US in addition to Uzbekistan, Afghanistan and Pakistan, and apart from that, US's decreasing hegemony inside the global trade as well as the United Nations. Okay, so for that sake, now US wants another superpower ally, which it knows, which the US Congress and Senate as well as the US government knows very well, that Russia can never be the friend of US. China is all-time favorite enemy. Yes, the sarcastic statement, all-time, but favorite enemy, because there is a huge trade going on between both of these two nations, that is US and China. And apart from that, Pakistan is now nowhere in the list of geopolitics, as it is going almost bankrupt, and every now and then what we can watch, the skirmishes and clashes inside the territory, domestic level, territory, okay, domestic level skirmishes and the violences inside the territory of Pakistan. So Afghanistan is nowhere in the list, Pakistan is nowhere in the list, Iran and Iraq, they are nowhere in the list. And now the only base, a strong base to enter into the realm of the Asian politics presents only to be as the nation of India. And that's why US is trying with all of these statements to appease the Indian government at its best. And now, coming to the main point here once again, that is the statement given by the US Senate and the US Congress, that is official recognition is given by the United States to the McMohan line that demarcates the boundary between India and China. Now, US is giving this a statement. That means US is giving us a statement in favor of India, yes, but also when you favor something, you oppose something on the very contrary. So US has given us a statement in order to favor India, but also US has opposed the actions of China with this statement. Why? Let's go back to the history. As we all know very well, the tensions that are sparked between India and China since quite long. Well, we can call it since last 63 years, we have been in a continuous battle with China. In a continuous war with China. 1962 is just an event, is just one single event of war. Okay, or we can call it is an event of battle. The battle ended in the year 1962, but the war is still on between these two nations. Once upon a time, a very good cordial friends, but now, once again, the great enemies. The great enmity surrounds between these two nations, between us and China. So, with regard to this enmity, keeping this enmity in mind, China is trying its best to increase the tensions inside the territory of India. Once you talk about the location of Galwan, you talk about the location of Yangtze, or in fact, you can talk about the location of whole CPEC and LAC. Why what China is doing? China is claiming Indian territories as its own territory, and that's why China do not wish, once again I will speak it, but that's why China do not wish to identify McMohan line as a boundary line between India and China. Why? Because then it will officially declare Arunachal, or China will be compelled, if China accepts McMohan line as the territory line, as the boundary line between India and China, then China will have to officially accept Arunachal Pradesh as an integral part of India. No doubt, India possesses Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh is our integral part. It's part of the territory of India. It's our territory. We Indians, we have the whole from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Arunachal to Gujarat. This is all India, the mainland India, including the island territories of Lakshadweep, Andaman and Nicobar. This is all India, and China knows this thing very well. Now what China is trying to do is inculcate tension. Why? Because it wants the Indian government to be kept busy. Okay, so that we do not have the proper terms in the growth and development, and China would be having long-scale war and would go ahead with the ceasefire violations every now and then and disturb the India from growing. Why? Because China knows this thing very well, that the greatest threat to Chinese supremacy inside the territory of Asia is only us, that is we, India. Okay, so not considering okay the McMohan line and claiming Arunachal Pradesh as its own territory. Why? Because once again, nothing but just want to spark tensions. But let us talk about history. Mr. Xi Jinping, if you are hearing us, it's a very important statement from our side. We suggest you to read history once, just once. Because there is an agreement, there is a treaty that are kept in the official records. 1914, the Shimla Agreement or the Shimla Treaty. Yes guys, don't get confused. 1914 is also the Shimla Treaty. 1972 is also the Shimla Agreement. Okay, so don't get confused. So there are two treaties or agreements in the name of Shimla. Okay, 1914 is the one that took place between the British India, Tibet and China, and 1972 the Shimla Agreement, that is between India, the independent India, and unfortunately yes, the independent Pakistan as well. Okay, so we talk about 1914, the Shimla Treaty, the Shimla Agreement, where the British India, that is the British government, the then British government, officially signed the treaty with the then Tibet and with the then Chinese government, and they only demarcated the McMohan line as an official boundary between India and China. Okay, and in that very same time period, Tibet was given the independent status as well. And Tibet was having its own set of principles and government. Tibet was not part of China at that time. Unfortunately, China doesn't believe in history, or maybe they believe but they do not want to admit it, because at any cost, what the Xi Jinping government is doing, they just want to increase or enhance the tensions with the claim of the Arunachal Pradesh region, with their ceasefire violations inside the territory of India in the regions of Ladakh, LAC specifically, that is line of actual control. And from our perspective, we call it that LAC, that is the McMohan line itself, is the official actual line of control. We call it ALAC, that is the McMohan line as the official boundary between India and China. But China is not ready to accept it. So that is where the United States has taken a stand, the Senate, the Congress of the United States has taken a stand and has tried to appease that is India, tried to appease us, that is India, with its statement that yes, China shall admit that yes, McMohan line is an official line between India and China. And why the US has done this? Yes, in order to appease, of course, no doubt in that. And apart from that, it is also a befitting reply to the Chinese government when they have test fired one of those missiles, and when in that test they claim that it can reach the territories of United States in a quick span of time, in some short minutes, some 33 minutes they claimed about. Okay, so guys, this is all about with today's session. I hope you learned a lot. It was interesting as much as you can admit it, right? So this is all about today's news, guys, with regard to the Perspective Takkar series hot topic of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do not forget to like the video, subscribe for the channel, and yes, please do not forget to provide your valuable feedback into the comment box, how much you like the video. And apart from that, your feedbacks, your suggestions are always welcome. What you want me to add on, what you want me not to add, and so on. Okay, everyone, so thanks for watching. Have a good day. And please do study well. I assure you success is all yours. You will be there at the training center, that is the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, 6,000 feet above the sea level inside the Queen of Hills, Mussoorie. Very soon. Just keep on with your hard work, keep on with your smart work, and yes, success will touch your feet once for sure. Okay, and that once will be enough for the whole of your life. Okay, everyone. So bye-bye with this. I bid adieu. See you all soon in the very next session. Take care. Jai Hind.
The first step towards achieving your dreams is having the right coach. Get the best education with Lukmaan IAS and make your UPSC dreams come true. Download the app now.